93.3 The Fan. It's gut check time now after losing yesterday. This is an elimination day for the San Diego Padres unless they can figure it out and get out there and get a win against the Chicago Cubs. We're taking you up to about 11 o'clock. We're going to have Sam Levitt on in the next segment to kind of give us a preview. He's there live at the stadium right now getting ready for the pregame show, the Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show. At the conclusion of our show, Frank and I are heading up north to Park 101 to hang out for the watch party and hopefully see this team continue their season for 2025. I'm going to tell you right now, they lose today, it's a disappointing year. It's a disappointing year. I thought making the playoffs was good. I think it's good to make the playoffs. I think A.J. Preller's done his job in building a roster, considering some of the situations that he has around him. But I'll tell you this, and I said this on the roundtable, it might have been last week. To me, they would have to, for it to feel like a successful season, they'd have to get to the NLCS. I thought losing the divisional series, you could have been a little bit back and forth. Getting swept in the wild card series is a failure. That is a failure. And this is also part of the failure that has been the Padres in the playoffs the last 33 innings. In the Padres' last 33 innings, dating back to Game 3 of the Los Angeles Dodgers series last October, you really want to go into that rabbit hole about how this team has not been able to play in the postseason. They have been outscored 13-1. Collectively as a team, they've had 111 at-bats. They've gotten 15 hits. That's a 135 batting average. They worked 5 walks. They've been punched out 25 times. Their on-base percentage in their last 3 games, that's 33 innings, has been a 172. Their slugging's been a 180, 3 doubles and 1 triple. Their OPS as a team's been 352. Their batting average with runners in scoring position, 111. Manny Machado in the last 33 playoff innings is hitting 083, 1 for 12. Fernando Tatis Jr., 1 for 14, 071. Where's the grit squad? Where is it? Where is it? I mean, they could tell us, they tell us all the time, it's like, we're a gritty squad. Where is it? Where's the grit squad? A grit squad last night or yesterday gets a run in from third base with less than 2 outs in a playoff game. In fact, they had no outs. Grit Squad takes advantage of the Cubs, who don't make any errors ever, take advantage of the error from Pete Crow Armstrong in a playoff game, and they apply pressure. What happened to that? We don't feel pressure. We apply pressure. They didn't really apply too much pressure yesterday. I thought Jackson Merrill balled out. I thought Xander Bogaerts balled out. By the way, good thing, Padres fans, you didn't cut Xander Bogaerts. If you cut Xander Bogaerts, you'd be looking at a 33 straight innings without even scoring a run if it wasn't for Xander Bogaerts. I mean, seriously. They had a runner on third with no outs. Couldn't get him in. And I don't care about the lefty, well, we have too many lefties in a row. You know what? Top of the order went 0 for 15. 0 for 15. Nothing out of Fernando, nothing out of Arise, and nothing out of Manny. Nothing. They got nothing out of those guys yesterday. Grit squads put up more than 1 run. Grit squads, here's the other thing, too. Yesterday, when talked about it, Manny said, if we didn't give up the 2 home runs, we'd still be playing right now. Well, you know what? You know what gritty teams do when you give up the 2 bad pitches? And those were 2 bad pitches by Pivetta. I don't want to hear Jessica Mendoza's BS about the Cubs made an adjustment. Are you kidding me? Do you see where those pitches were? Pivetta missed middle in on the fastball to Suzuki. The guy deposited over the left field fence. Of course he's going to hit it out. That's a mistake on Pivetta. Pivetta pitched great. Guys are going to make mistakes. Now, it's what you do with the mistakes. That's what makes the difference in the playoffs. Cubs took advantage of the mistakes that the Padres made. They went back-to-back. Middle in on Suzuki and a high fastball, all in the zone, also left the yard for a guy that had been throwing a lot of fastballs. But you know what a gritty squad does? They answer. You answer after that. And we've seen this team do it. That's why it's frustrating. Now, we've seen them not do it a little bit more than they've done it. I will say that. But a grit squad goes out there and competes. And they go and they get runs on the board. And they battle. I didn't see that yesterday for a playoff game. It's frustrating to watch. I mean, how many track balls did we see yesterday? How many track balls? There's about 8 balls that went to the fence yesterday. Just died at the track. I know it's hard to hit at Wrigley, but guess what? Chicago did it. It's nice to have, I don't know, a little bit of slug, a little bit of pop, putting the ball over the fence. It's nice to have that. For everything they said on the broadcast of what the Padres have done to win games, and they're right on that ESPN broadcast, everything that they said that the Padres did to win games, the Cubs did and beat the Padres the way the Padres have played all season. And you know what? The things that they struggled with all year came back to haunt them yesterday. How many times have we seen the got to get guys on base? And we got to be able to drive in runs. We have to take advantage of opportunities. Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. It's been like that the entire season. I have seen guys like Xander Bogaerts get to third with no outs, and you get a pop-up and a whatever, a ground ball. I mean, I will have to say, the ball that O'Hearn hit, Dansby Swanson playing in, he made a hell of a play. You can't really get super mad at Ryan O'Hearn there. Hits the ball hard. Their infield's in. You're not doing a contact play with no outs. I'm totally fine with that, especially with a guy like Xander Bogaerts that's got a foot issue. You're not running a contact play with Xander Bogaerts. And I'm talking about like early on in the game when they got the run in and they got a runner on third with no outs. You have to score there if you want to be a team that wins in the playoffs. Good teams get that guy in. They do. They failed to do it. I'm not mad at O'Hearn, but then Sheets pops up. Got to find a way to get the ball to the outfield and at least give yourself an opportunity to get the run in. And then I don't even remember what Cronenworth did after that. But at that point, it didn't even matter. You fumbled away an opportunity to add runs. You have to add runs. You cannot leave any playoff team hanging around. And I don't care how good your bullpen is. Because the Cubs bullpen, which was bad at the beginning of the year, has been lights out the last couple of months, and all they needed was the 1-run lead, and then it was shutdown time. They just mowed through the Padres order. You know what's sickening? The sickening thing is letting Drew Pomerantz go 1-2-3 against you, a guy that was so lazy here and didn't want to play and was collecting a check and was like, I'll be ready in a little bit of time. I mean, that he was like done with baseball to retire. He goes out there and shoves. I mean, are you kidding me? How do you let that guy beat you? That's what's frustrating. I mean, you're letting a guy like Drew Pomerantz, who basically quit on you when he was a Padre, beat you in a wild card game. Beyond frustrating. Absolutely beyond frustrating. And so now what is the task? And again, I'm not saying it's over, but I'm telling you right now, if you want to look at it realistically, here is what the Padres are trying to do. Now, you could view it any way you want. And I'll say this. I'm going to say this again. The organization did their job. They spent the money. A.J. Preller went out and had a great trade deadline. Now, not having Laureano hurt you yesterday. They assembled a great bullpen. Haven't been able to use it. They assembled a great roster, a good enough roster to win. Is it a perfect roster? No, but nobody's going to have a perfect roster. I thought A.J. Preller has done his job. And him and the Padres losing 2 games shouldn't impact his job status at all. It's up to the players now. It's up to the players. Everybody else in the organization has done their job. It is up to the players. And so this is what the Padres have to do. Listen to this. Since 2020. Now they don't count that. They don't count the COVID year. I don't care. It's a 3-game series in the postseason. We're counting it. Since 2020, only 2 teams have come back from down 0-1 to win the series in the current format, right? Again, you can don't count 2020, count 2020. We're going to count it, all right? Because it's a 3-game playoff series, the first they ever did it. Only 2 teams have come back from an 0-1 deficit. The San Diego Padres and the Oakland Athletics. They were the 2 teams that did it in 2020. Both of those teams were home teams. Now, there's nobody in the stands, so take that for what it's worth. There's nobody in the stands. But the home teams won both those games. Since then, there hasn't been a single team that has lost game 1 that has come back to win the series. Not one time since 2022. Not one time. By the way, do you want to know how many times it's even made it to game 3? Since 2020. Again, we're going to count 2020. I'm telling you, if you take 2020 out, it's going to make it worse. Since 2020, there have only been 4 series that have ever reached 3 games. The Padres forced game 3 here in San Diego. The Athletics did it against the White Sox in 2020. The New York Mets did it. They forced game 3 in 2022. And the Mets did it last year the Brewers did it last year against the Mets. You know what all those teams have in common that have forced game 3? All the teams that have forced game 3, you know what they have in common? They were all home. So not only are the Padres trying to force game 3 for the 3rd time ever, if you want to not count 2020, or the 5th time ever, if you do want to count 2020, I mean, do what you want. They're going to try to be the 5th team to do it, or the 3rd team to do it. They're also trying to be the first team ever to force game 3 when they are on the road. Nobody has ever done that. That's just winning today. We're not even talking about winning a series. That's why yesterday was so important. That's why I didn't really lay out the whole situation of Dylan Cease pitching with the season on the line, because guess what? You make it to this point, I mean, it's not looking good for you. It's just not. Unless you get the grit squad that they talk about all the time. This show is action over words. It's action over words. We haven't seen the action yet. We've heard the words. We haven't seen the action in the postseason. They can be gritty in the regular season. It's playoff time. It's time to get after it. So, that's how it lays out. They are trying to do something that nobody has ever done before. And Dylan Cease is leading the way. So regardless if you think it's the right choice or not, he is the guy. Dylan Cease has to do a good job today. I would imagine it's Michael King right after Dylan Cease. And this team has the ability to do everything that we laid out they have to do. That's what makes it frustrating. But that's the reality of the situation. People don't like listening to the reality of the situation. I mean, I could sit there and just pretend like, oh, look, they could be the first team ever to do this. This is the reality of the situation. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So Dylan Cease has to go out there and do well. Now, here's the positive. Dylan Cease has done well at Wrigley Field. Dylan Cease has done well against the Cubs. Dylan Cease has the numbers and the strikeout rate to go out there and have a good outing. He just needs to get through the order one time. And you get to Michael King. Michael King has the ability to do it. The Padres are going against Imanaga's second after the Kittredge is the opener. Kittredge is going to face the right-handers in that order. Who knows how long he goes. Kittredge is okay. He's looked pretty good. I think the Padres can get Kittredge, and guess what? They saw him yesterday. The Stars need to go out there and be stars. The bottom of the order needs to grind out at bats. They need to play Padres baseball that they had played throughout most of the year that have gotten them to this point. They put themselves behind the 8 ball yesterday by not executing and letting the Cubs kind of get their confidence a little bit. So we'll see what they have in store for us today. But this is it. Got to win today. And like somebody said in the chat, 1 inning at a time. You got to take it 1 inning at a time and see if the Padres can shock the world. It's not impossible. You know what? Some people would say they're due. Some people would say it's somebody's due to win a series after being down 0-1. And you know what? If you count 2020, the Padres are a team that have done it before. And guess what? They had Craig Stammen on the mound that day. Craig Stammen. You could complain all you want about Dylan Cease, but I'm going to tell you right now, you would take Dylan Cease over Craig Stammen as an opener and hoping for the best. So, I laid out the reality of the situation. If you want to interpret that as negative, go ahead. That's just the reality. There are reasons to be positive about this too, but I'm keeping it real. If it was great, I'd say it's great. It's bad, I'm going to say it's bad. And the Padres in their last 33 innings of the postseason has not been good. But we'll see what they got. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973 if you want to join the show today. When we come back, live look-in as we go to Wrigley Field and talk with Sam Levitt to get you a preview of today's game. We're off and running here on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:23 on a Wednesday morning. Do or die time for the Padres elimination game as they take on Chicago Cubs, game 2 of the wild card series. And joining us live from Wrigley Field, Sam Levitt. It's presented by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys facing criminal charges. Trust David P. Shapiro and his team helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. I know you just on not too long ago, obviously getting the sights and sounds of Wrigley Field. What's a little scene set for us out there at Wrigley, Sam?
Yeah, Braden, good to talk to you. Padres have just taken the field for batting practice, so they're about to do a little bit of infield, and then they'll hit. The stand starting to fill up here at Wrigley, in the bleachers as well. The wind looked like it was blowing across from right to left earlier in the morning, but now I'm looking at it, and it's blowing a little bit more in now. It's not howling by any means, but I would say from what I can tell, and I'm not a meteorologist up here to be clear, but maybe blowing in slightly. And that's a little bit different than what it was doing in the earlier part of the morning into obviously early afternoon now here in Chicago. So that's the scene setter. It's a really nice day again. Blue skies, a little bit chillier than it was yesterday, but still very, very nice. Not quite as hot. So we shall see between the wind and the sun how the ball travels today and what we get here in a very, very important game too.
What have the vibes been for the team, at least that you have seen since they have shown up today after yesterday? I mean, obviously a lot of negative yesterday, but it's do or die time for the Padres. What's the team's vibes like here early in the morning, or at least getting ready for first pitch?
Yeah, look, I wasn't in the clubhouse late yesterday because I was on the air, and they don't have pregame clubhouse availability during the postseason. So what you get is in the press conference room. I haven't been down on the field yet. I'll go down there once I'm done with you. Look, I think just hearing Mike Shildt talk today, looking at the lineup, hearing Jay Cronenworth talk today, the sense I get is this is a team that has trust in their experience and their process. I think it's part of the reason why you saw no changes to the lineup today, which I was not surprised about, whether you like that or not. The fact that they didn't change the lineup at all today, I don't think it's surprising knowing what we know about how Mike Shildt usually operates and the trust he has in his process and kind of the way they've typically done things, right? Mike has not been a guy that has been very quick to make changes over the course of his time with the Padres. Now, this is obviously very different when you're facing elimination in a short series like this. But Jay Cronenworth echoed the same kind of thing. It's a team that obviously hasn't reached the mountaintop, but they have been in a lot of big games like this and a lot of high pressure games. And I do think they feel like they can lean on their experience and find a way today and find a way tomorrow. So we'll see, if that experience will win out today.
Let's talk real quick, Sam. Obviously, a lot of negative today with how yesterday played out. The Padres are trying to do something that nobody has done, and that is force a game 3 as a road team. I mean, we talked about winning a 3-game series when you're down 0-1. Padres have done that, even though it was 2020. But they're trying to do something that's never been done, and that's a road team forcing game 3. Why do you have confidence in let's calm all the fans down a little bit. Why are there some reasons the Padres are going to be the first team to do that?
Well, what are the reasons I would have confidence? Number one, I'd say Dylan Cease has looked better. Now, he has not been dominant, but he was okay to good in the final month of the season. He is a guy who really can dominate with his fastball when he's locating it. We saw Pivetta have a lot of success with the fastball yesterday, so that gives me hope for Dylan Cease. He's also a guy that, look, obviously it was a very, very up and down year for Dylan, but for the most part, a lot of those outings, even through his struggles, it's not like they really, really unraveled on him. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying he was great in a lot of those starts, but they weren't blow-up starts. He wasn't going out there and giving up 8 runs in 2 2/3, right? It was kind of the hey, gets through the lineup one time, and then he starts walking some guys and struggling, gives up a hit, gives up a home run. So I have trust in Dylan to keep the Padres in this game. So that's the pitching standpoint. The other thing is that the bullpen is fresh. I would think you would be very, very aggressive with that bullpen today, really, in any scenario. And I think offensively, look, you just got to sit here and hope that, the postseason struggles, even going back to last year, and I'm not ready to do that whole analysis and thread this back to last year, what we saw in the final 2 games against the Dodgers yet. But, law of averages, they should be able to hit more. And they certainly have guys in the lineup that can do that. So that would be my point to hopefulness, is that Cease can deliver you a good enough outing to allow your offense to score some runs. And then you can hand this to the bullpen, which you have a lot of confidence in, and why wouldn't you? And go find a way to move on. To me, that's kind of the recipe here today. That's why I'd be hopeful.
All right, Sam. We're looking forward to, we'll be listening to you as we drive up to the watch party, getting us all hyped up for the game. We really appreciate the time. I'm going to let you get focused here and get dialed in for a broadcast, but hopefully, Sam, we get to talk tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. And, I'm going to go down to the field right now, and I will talk to you at 11:05 a.m.
All right. We'll talk to you in just a little bit. Sam Levitt joining us from Wrigley Field, presented by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys facing criminal charges. Trust David P. Shapiro and his team, helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. It's going to be an interesting next couple of games. Now, on the positive side, the Guardians have already taken a 1-0 lead. That's the team that is facing elimination today. Maybe today is the day for the teams that are facing elimination in Major League Baseball. I mean, the Padres, to me, need to jump out early on the Cubs, and they need to have a big day. And it needs to come from the offense. I mean, we've talked about the pitching enough. Pitching was good yesterday. Pitching was good enough to win yesterday. The offense needs to show up. Core of the order did their job, to be honest with you. Mostly Xander Bogaerts and Jackson Merrill. Those guys were balling out. You got to get some production from everybody else in that lineup. We'll talk about the lineup when we come back. We'll get you some of the keys to the game. We're going to have Frank jump in. We're going to discuss how the Padres are going to keep this season alive. It's going to be 1 inning at a time today against Chicago. Another beautiful day in the Windy City. Another beautiful day here in San Diego. We'll have our last segment before we drive up to Park 101. Should be a fun time at the watch party in Carlsbad. See you guys all there. But when we come back, we'll take phone calls, talk more about tonight's game as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2. We are getting preempted by the Padres game. Obviously, everybody's on pins and needles waiting for this Padres game. Padres need a win to keep their 2025 season alive. Nobody has ever come back from one game down to the wild card series in this era of wild card. The not counting the 2020 because it was a different playoff format, I think is so dumb. Was it not a 3-game playoff series? Was it not that, Frank?
Oh, it was.
It was that. It was a 3-game playoff series. Why? Because they had 8 teams in for both sides. Guess what's probably going to happen after the next CBA? Probably going to have 8 teams in the playoffs. So, since they've done a 3-game, best of 3 wild card series, I don't really care if it was 2020 or not. 2 teams have advanced after being down 0-1. Your San Diego Padres and the Oakland Athletics, both of those teams are the home team. Interesting enough. Since then, if you don't want to count 2020, it's a fake year, all that stuff, whatever. Okay, say what you want. Still a 3-game playoff series. Let's not count that then. Then nobody's done it. Only 2 teams have forced Game 3. The New York Mets as a home team against your San Diego Padres in 2022, and the Milwaukee Brewers as a home team against Frank's New York Mets. That was last year, right? The Pete Alonso home run.
Earned him a new contract.
Yeah. He'll get another one next year. Both of those teams did not win Game 3. So, the Padres are trying to do something that nobody has done, and that is force a Game 3, first of all. Force a Game 3 as a road team. Nobody's done that. And then on top of that, be the first team to win a best-of-3 playoff series when down 0-1 as a road team. It's going to be very difficult to do. Now, that being said, there's only been a handful of those games. Like if you want to, let's look at the playoffs, right? How many times that we've seen, I mean, I could probably do some math off the top of my head, but we've talked about this before. Doing math on the radio is a bad idea. Frank, isn't it a bad idea? It's a bad idea.
Doing math in general is a bad idea.
Well, you have to do. Well, I'm not going to get in that argument. But anyway, don't tell the kids on my football team that. They got to get to.
If your teachers are telling, our teachers always told us you're not going to have a calculator on you 24/7. Guess what? They were wrong.
Ha! I got this thing. Joke's on you guys. I got a phone now. What? Your telephone does math? Yeah, it does. Could you imagine? Tell your teacher that? What's this for? There has been, again, if you want to talk about sample size, remember 2021, they didn't have this current playoff format. It was still, 2021 was still the one-game wild card. There's only been 12 wild card best-of-3 games since 2021. So 2022 on. Math is rough, English are hard. That's right, go Aztecs. There's only been 12 of them. So it's not like it's a massive sample size. Some would say the Padres are due. Some would say the Padres are due. Maybe they're due to shock the world and do something that's never been done before. I tell you what, they win the next 2 days, they're playing with house money going to the Brewers series. But this game's a little bit more nerve-wracking, I think. You can't get swept in 2 games in a wild card series. To me, it's a disappointment. I don't care if Laureano's hurt or not. And here's the other thing. You know, some people wanted to blame AJ Preller and the organization spent the money, ownership, did a great job. They have done a great job spending the money and investing in this team. AJ Preller's done a great job assembling the team. It's on the players now. It's on the coaches and the players to execute in these games. And the other thing, too, with the playoffs, like, it's such a crapshoot. It's such a crapshoot. As we've talked about it before. I mean, let's talk about yesterday for a second, right? Yesterday, crapshoot. At the time the Padres were going into the inning in which Pivetta gave up the 2 home runs, the Padres defensively had been great. Pivetta had been great going through the order. I mean, he looked sharp. He looked like he was going to give you 7 innings yesterday. And the offense got the run they needed, but you're still hanging on like, well, you should have executed and got a couple more runs. But they were doing well. 2 pitches changed the entire game. 2. That was it. Pivetta threw 2 bad pitches the entire afternoon. They both left the yard. Didn't go your way. It's baseball. You know the other thing it's baseball? Ryan O'Hearn hits a ball over 100 miles an hour with the infield in and a runner on third base and no outs. And gosh darn it, Dansby Swanson made a hell of a play at shortstop. And then later on, another opportunity, a bloop shot by Ryan O'Hearn, and a tough catch is made by Dansby Swanson. I mean, these are the little things that affect baseball games. That's why baseball is just kind of a crazy sport. That's why it's a frustrating sport. That's why they said you got to play a best of 170-something games if you want to find the best deal. Yeah, I don't know about the whole Jessica Mendoza. I mean, you kidding me? They made an adjustment. What, by hitting the fastball that's over the heart of the plate? That was the adjustment they made against Nick Pivetta? Hey, look, they couldn't hit the fastball when it was out of the zone, so they decided to swing at the one that was like dead red. Wow. What an adjustment. Do you think that happened? Honestly, let's just think about that for a second. Let's just think about the adjustment deal. You think they're in there looking at the iPads going, you know what? If I swing at this fastball right down the middle, I think I'll be having a little bit more success than the other pitches that I see. I mean, are you kidding me? What adjustment is she talking about? Made an adjustment. What a joke.
See that ball there that's getting thrown at you? I want you to hit that with this big stick that you have.
Oh.
That's what you have the stick for.
Yeah. You're missing it.
Ball.
You're missing it. Maybe you should hit it this time. What kind of adjustments is she talking about?
Wood on leather.
That was literally Pavetta's worst pitch he threw the entire day. Was the fastball to Suzuki. I mean, that thing was a bleep shot. Then you can insert your own word there. I mean, that was like the perfect belt high, middle in. Are you kidding me? What an adjustment. What an adjustment. And then the other ball that got hit out of the yard is a fastball at the top of the zone, completely in the zone. What an adjustment. I mean, come on. I couldn't believe. I was like, we're just saying stuff now. I mean, we're just throwing words out there. Words.
Oh, I'm just stupid.
I mean, I could adjustment. Good thing maybe the Padres should make the adjustment and swing at fastballs right down the middle. Give me a break. Give me a break. This is why you can listen to the show on the radio. There's a couple of adjustments that I don't like. That is crazy to me. I mean, that first of all. The other thing, that's up there with halftime adjustments. Halftime adjustments in football is the dumbest thing ever. You want to know why? You have 15 minutes. That includes running into the locker room. That's also using the bathroom, which everybody does. And then you have to figure out and teach your team what to do before you go back out on the field to warm up again. You have 15 minutes to do that. Halftime adjustments. Analysts love saying that. Halftime adjustments. Incredible. All right, Frank. It's time to be frank. Your reaction to yesterday's game. What about everybody's freaking out about the bunt, too. Who's on your list that should never bunt, Frank?
Fernando should never bunt in any situation ever. Manny should never bunt in any situation ever. Xander Bogaerts is getting paid way too much money to be bunting in any situation ever. And Jackson Merrill, especially after hitting a double in the previous at-bat, should never be bunting ever.
Was that with no outs?
That was to lead off the inning.
No, Manny was already on.
Yeah, Manny worked the walk. Yeah, Manny walked to lead off the inning, and then Merrill bunted.
Manny worked the walk, and then the bunt.
I don't mind.
Even if Merrill hits a ground ball, he's probably beating out a double play.
I don't mind the bunt. I don't mind the bunt play. But to have Jackson Merrill do it at that point in the game, this should never be. You're playing for a run. That's something that's good to do during the regular season. Fine. And if it wasn't called by Schilt for him to bunt, you got to sit him down and say, listen, I don't want you bunting just to get your eye in the batting cage anymore. Forget about the bunt. Never, ever, ever bunt. Ever again. Period.
They've created a culture with the bunting where they make it like where that seems like a good decision there for Jackson Merrill. You have nobody out. And it was the fourth inning? Look, I understand now from this perspective, if you add that run on and now you have a 2-0 lead for your bullpen, you're thinking like it's really great. But not with Jackson Merrill and Xander Bogaerts, who ripped that double in his last at-bat. You could have played for the big inning there.
Here's the deal. It's like a dirty joke. Time and place. Mm-hmm. There's a time and place where that is acceptable.
Bunting is like a dirty joke.
Not in the fourth inning.
I like that.
With the 3 and 4 hitters up. Not then. And you're rolling the same exact lineup out today. There's a time and place where that is acceptable. With the number 3 hitter on base and the number 4 hitter at the plate with nobody out in the fourth inning, no.
If Jay Cronenworth worked a walk,
Fantastic.
And Freddie Fermin was up and dropped down a bunt.
Have Freddie Fermin
Sounds
bunt.
good.
Have Fermin bunt the rest of the year. I don't care. Jackson Merrill should never be bunting, ever.
Bunting is like a dirty joke. That needs to be a T-shirt. Frank has pulled out some gems, let me tell you. Jetropolitans, bunting's like a dirty joke. Got a couple other ones. What was the other one?
Mike Gundy looks like a dehydrated Elvis.
It's great. Yeah, Mike Gundy looks like a dehydrated Elvis impersonator. Another great one-liner from Frank. Love it. We have a couple of minutes here. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Scott in Santa. Scott, what's going on, man? Scott, are you there? We'll see you, buddy. All right. Now, looking at today's game, we talked about the negatives. It's hard to try to think that this thing's just going to get flipped. It's hard to think that this thing is just going to get flipped. But the offense looked good over the weekend. And again, back to playoff baseball. Some of the guys that haven't been good in the playoffs, not only in a Padres uniform, but in general, have continued to struggle in the postseason. I mean, we could talk about pitching all we want. The pitching did their job yesterday. Everybody's worried about Dylan Cease. I'm worried about the offense. They've scored 1 run in the last 33 innings of playoff baseball. 1. They got 4 hits yesterday. But how about this? I was listening to Gwen and Chris the other day, and Chris brought up the whole runners in scoring position and getting hits with runners in scoring position. He said teams that lose usually hit under 200 with runners in scoring position. Do you know what the Cubs did yesterday with runners in scoring position?
It wasn't my way. No, I'm kidding. I do not know.
0. They were 0 for 3.
Yeah, it was the home runs that did it.
Yeah, it's the solo shots. And then they didn't get a hit when they drove in that run late in the game against Estrada. They didn't get a hit. Padres hit 285 with runners in scoring position yesterday. They were 2 for 7. That's just baseball. Padres were 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The Cubs, 0 for. Cubs struck out 13 times. How about that? You were talking about a team, the Chicago Cubs yesterday, as an offense, before we crowned them as champions, like they did really well. They had 2 good swings on 2 bad pitches. It's the benefit of having slug. The Cubs struck out 13 times yesterday. 9 times to Nick Pivetta. Mason Miller struck out 3, and Peralta got 1 guy. They struck out 13 times and didn't get a hit with runners in scoring position and won the game. I mean, I'm telling you, as much as I got on the Padres pretty good in the first segment, but at the same time, I mean, that is playing with fire if you're the Chicago Cubs. I mean, missed opportunities for the Padres led the Cubs to a victory yesterday. And you know what the Cubs did, though? They took advantage of the mistakes. That's who wins in the postseason. 0 for runners in scoring position for the Cubs, 13 punch-outs. That's baseball, unfortunately. This is why it's such a crapshoot. This is why it's so hard to come back from 1 down. I mean, this stuff happens in baseball games all the time, and it happens in June, and you don't care because you get them tomorrow. It happens in October. All of a sudden, it's like, I can't believe how much of a failure we are as a season. It's crazy. That's the sport we watch. That's what's crazy about this. What did the Padres have to do today, Frank, to keep their season alive for us to talk about them tomorrow?
Obviously not. Well, we're going to be talking about him either way tomorrow.
In a positive way.
You got to string hits together. You have to just do, what did I say? What did I say on Monday? Don't be cute, because that's what happened in Los Angeles, and you got swept. You played your game the next weekend when they were here, and you beat them 2 out of 3. Just play your game. Don't be cute. Just get done what you need to get done. That's all you need to do. String hits together. Don't worry about bunting. Just string hits together. Ground balls, liners, doesn't matter. It's going to be harder to hit home runs there, which, fine, whatever, is what it is. Have Cease's back. No matter what, give him some form of run support. Get to them early. Kittredge pitched yesterday, and he's going to be used as an opener today. Perfect opportunity to hit him right now in the first inning. Get on him early, get on them often, put up a crooked number in the first couple of innings before, and then you don't have to worry about Shota Imanaga. He'll keep the game close, but that's fine. You'll have the lead. Don't do anything extra special. The hero is going to be the guy who knows his role and does his job and doesn't do anything extra. That is what you need today. Just play baseball. Do not try to be a hero.
That usually doesn't work out very well for teams. I agree. They gotta give C some run support early. I said going in on the roundtable that the guy that's going to be the impact player is going to be Dylan Cease. I think everybody has counted him out. He still has good strikeout stuff. I mean, so today's the day. I mean, he's gonna try to keep your season alive. I mean, if it wasn't for Xander Bogaerts, you would have got shut out yesterday. We cut him in May. Our fans cut him in May. I mean, so there's going to be some unsung heroes in there. You're going to need a good outing out of Dylan Cease. And if it gets rough early, it's going to be a rough day.
And again, you don't need a full start out of him. You just need one trip through the order,
That's
hopefully 3 innings. Anything after that is a bonus, and he's getting an early hook the second he gets in trouble. That's all you need out of him.
And we need good at-bats out of Fernando, too, man. We need good at-bats out of Fernando. I mean, Fernando's at-bats yesterday were not good.
No.
And not good at all.
None of them were in the top of the order.
No.
None of them.
At least the Rise saw a couple pitches, I guess. Manny did work one walk.
And he struck out.
But yeah, he struck out and then he had a couple of seeds right at somebody, but it's still an out. Tatis swinging early, not really barreling the ball, and then his last at bat where he struck out swinging, he got a bad call on the pitch inside where the catcher got crossed up, and he let that affect him the rest of the at bat. He let that affect him in the rest of the at bat. But Junior needs to have a big game today. I'd love to see, first inning would be nice to put up a run to put the pressure on for the San Diego Padres, especially against the guy that you saw yesterday. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We will be at Park 101 in Carlsbad at about noon, depending how long it takes us to get from Serra Mesa to Carlsbad. So we will be there for the watch party. What time are we out today, by the way?
We got another 2 minutes.
Another 2? Are you sure about that?
Yes.
All right. So
you guys will know when it is 10:58:15 because you will hear music in the background.
The pregame starts at 05 today.
Did you not see the text that our wonderful program director Adam Klug?
He changed it again?
No, he didn't change it again.
It was fire silent bed at 10:55 outro music, then fire. Okay, there you go.
Thank you very much.
Minutes. Otherwise, I was gonna take a phone call.
English are hard. See that?
Let's get out to Jason and Encinitas. Jason, what's going on?
Fellas, how are you? Thanks for the call before you cut over to the pregame show. This team, give AJ credit, of course, for building, the team, making the roster moves he's made. But, I would argue with the way that playoff baseball is played in 2025, this team is built for playoff baseball from 10 years ago, not in an era where teams go to their pens in the third inning, have a reliever face 3 guys, and then they're out, and it's the next reliever, and on and on and on. This team, built for small ball sort of and bunting that you guys have discussed. The Dodger game yesterday, my brother-in-law is a Dodger fan. The big fly that the Padres lost yesterday to the Cubs, home runs. I mean, this team, it seems to me, is built for playoff baseball from 10 years ago.
Well, their pitching staff's not, and I appreciate the phone call. Their pitching staff's built for playoff baseball in this era. The lack of slug is just kind of crazy. I mean, they have guys that can hit the ball out of the yard, too. That's what's frustrating. I mean, you tell me Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. can't hit the ball over the fence anymore? No, they both had, 20 home runs each? More? I mean, they haven't been able to, tag mistakes, though. They haven't been able to tag mistakes. I mean, how many track balls we see yesterday? 8?
It was a good amount, yeah.
Some weight room balls. And I know these guys aren't not strong. I mean, yesterday in the Dodgers game, their stars jumped out and performed, which is interesting because they haven't been in the playoffs the last couple of years. But they hit 5 home runs yesterday? Their bullpen still almost coughed it up. You see the Dodger fans sitting there watching their team. I got a text from a Dodger fan yesterday going why am I nervous up 10-2 in the 8th inning? I don't know. Is his bullpen's trash?
Blake Trinan, maybe. That might be a reason.
Yeah. Anybody
Tanner
else
Scott?
that rolls out of there? All right. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show is coming up next. Frank and I are on our way to Carlsbad for the watch party at Park 101. Hope to see you there. What are you prepared to do, boys? Padres facing elimination. We'll see how they do. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.